why anyone who would come here, whether or not they go to a ball game, another place that I worked was the National Aquarium in Baltimore, or whether they would go to the aquarium. But if they would meet any one of you on the street, they would say, this is a great city. And that's part of the experience. So I don't even want to talk about, how you can brand and be number one, or how you make sure and pitch and tell your story, because you all get it. It's the love for your city that you have, and that's what sells it. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. Miss Courtney Speed?
I, too, express sincere congratulations to all of the honorees, and I bring you greetings through the grace of God from historic town 1800 that they're trying to gentrify. Out of 40 African American communities in Baltimore County, I am advocating that we save the nation of Turner Station, which was where the Lacks family came when they came from Clover, Virginia. In that community, we have I went to live there in the 1960s when I met one of the most manly, prestigious businessmen, who was the tonsorialist, and he too was from Virginia. And he was an oral historian, so in meeting him, he took me around in the tour of Turner Station, which many people, including myself, had never heard of. It's when he said Turner Station, I said, what is that? But tucked away in the southeast section of Dundalk, Maryland, is now from about 1,500 when I first went, we're down to 3,000. And we are contemplating trying to rebuild it and save it and repurpose it for tourism. And I thank Mr. Fields for letting us come on the program a couple Thursdays ago to get the word out. And more so now because Henrietta Lacks, boom, the shirt is 30 years old when we started advocating for the family once I found out about it. And I found out about Henrietta Lacks, ironically, not from America, but BBC came over in 1997 and asked me at a little out-of-the-way salon, did I know Henrietta Lacks? I didn't. And she lived in our community since the 40s. But she had gone to Hopkins Hospital and had cancer. And there was a Dr. George Guy who had been trying to find an answer to a research that they had been working on for years and years, but they could not get the specimens that they used to live. And Mrs. Lacks went to Hopkins, and after she died, they took a part of her cancer cells, which they found out then it was cervical cancer. They sent it in the airplane to Philadelphia, and it came back. It was not only the part that it sent, but it looked through the microphone and microscope, and they found out that it had not only replicated, but it was still living. And that piece of specimen that they took from her in Hopkins is still alive at this time. And it is called the immortal cells because it is not able to die. It's still living. So, with this, Dr. Guy sent portions of this specimen to many of the people in foreign countries. They did a lot of researching, and they had not told about it here in America. But like I said, in '97 we found out about it, and from there, oh my goodness, the word got out. So we're advocating for the family, and then later, here comes somebody else wanted to know about Henrietta Lacks. Well, at this time, I was a little smarter because after working with BBC, they had documented, and we had a copy of it in our library. Rebecca Skloot, who at that time was a student, and she was writing about someone named Henrietta Lacks. So we were able to direct her to the documentary that BBC had done, and from that came the book, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, which has been on the top-selling book list since 2010. And the hurting thing about it is they said they did not ask Henrietta, well, they couldn't have because she was dead. So they should have asked someone from the family. And the family still has not been compensated, and we're still advocating for them. And this is our 21st year of celebrating Henrietta Lacks. And we have also put in for a stamp, which we are doing next week again because we made an application in 2013, and they tell us it will take 3 years for the processing to go through. And here it is, 2018. Somewhere the information was not disseminated where it should have been. So we are going next week again to talk to Congressman Elijah Cumming, who is head of the Postal Department. And then we also have a luncheon that is going to be our 3rd year too. We actually have met the doctor who worked with her cells, Dr. Roland Patillo, and he is now is in his late 80s. So we ask you to come to Turner Station because we have repurposed the community. Mr. Diggs has written a book, and from the meta to the point, and we will also take you on a tour when you come to historic Turner Station. And we thank you, Mr. Fields, and all of you today for carrying on. Thank you.
Thank you. She serves as the president of the Henrietta Lacks Legacy Group. Founder and president. That's important. And now let's hear from Mr. Stephen Lee.
Is it still morning? Good morning.
No, it's afternoon, actually.
That's what I thought. Good afternoon. Stephen Lee, as Mr. Fields said, I'm founding director of the Heritage Museum in Baltimore and the founding director for the Benjamin Banneker Historical Park and Museum. I also serve as a state commissioner on the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture. Needless to say, I've done countless programs across the state, but my main theme of all my work is to uplift our community. By that I mean uplift us in terms of our history, our heritage, and our community self-development. That's what I have been the most dedicated to. Mr. Hutchinson challenged us to speak up, to ask the right questions, and very important point. And what I say to everyone is follow the money. Always follow the money. We are a capitalist country, a capitalist society. We are based in money. And so I say to everyone, don't just look out for your own advancement, but for the advancement of our community as a whole. That's what it's going to take for the Black community to rise, even where you are the predominant culture, such as here in Baltimore. Follow the money. And I'm so sorry Mr. Hutchinson has ducked out, but to visit Baltimore, I accept Mr. Hutchinson's challenge, and I challenge you. Where's the money? Of your entire budget, And of all the dollars you give out, and it's considerable, I know, I track these things, what percentage goes to African American non-governmental organizations? All of you are in positions. What percentage of all the dollars you give out, follow the money, goes to African American non-governmental organizations? That's fundamentally important. That's what enables us to develop our own cultural organizations, like Mr. Felix. You know? Government organizations, notice I said NGOs, non-governmental organizations. Governmental organizations, we do not ultimately have the control over. That's not self-determination. Look at other cultural groups. Most of their main cultural organizations are private. Walter's Art Gallery, Visionary Art Museum, even the BMA. We have Great Blacks in Wax, and when you go into their doors, are they as refined as BMA, as the Walters? What percentage of state and city dollars goes in comparison to our African American cultural organizations? If you really track it, if you really study it, of the state dollars, we get less than 1%. I said less than 1%. Someone said earlier we are 42% of Maryland's population. Is there a disparity there? Think about that. If every year these mainstream organizations are getting over 99% of the money, and we're getting less than 1%, doesn't that make a difference into how we are sustaining? So I say to everyone, follow the money. Even in our own departments in which we work, we should always have our eye on what percentage of what is going out of our agency is going to our African American non-governmental organizations. Thank you.
Whew.